gets the steal and the easy deuce.
And the Lakers have a 3-on-1, now a 2-on-1. Showtime!
That's what happens when you go too early.
What a mistake.
LeBron, you've done everything. You do not have to help clean up the popcorn.
You don't think they have that availability. AD to the rack. LeBron bounce. AD 17 feet. He's the first player in NBA history to now have a triple-double against every single team in the league. Noel in front of LeBron. There's that three! LeBron with the triple-double, 34 from AD. And the Lakers have the best record in the NBA.
First Take fam, what's going on? Thank you for being with us on a Wednesday. Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, I'm Molly Camrose. What's the good word, gentlemen?
What's up?
What are we doing?
How going on, Molly? Stephen A.
Yellow. Yellow. Mellow yellow.
Mellow, I like that.
Mellow yellow.
I like that. We're going to call Molly Mellow Yellow for the day. Mellow Yellow. That's what we're going to say.
No, it wasn't Mellow last night. They call him the king for a reason. You just heard it. LeBron James continues to rack up accolades in his 16th season. Last night, he became the first player in NBA history to record a triple-double against all 30 teams. He talked about the accomplishment with our Mark Spears.
Coach Vogel came in here and said, congratulations, and I was like, oh, well, I thought he was joking about my 7 turnovers because I've been taking care of the ball so much, and he said, first player in NBA history to have a triple-double versus 30 teams or every team, and I was like, okay. LeBron. That's pretty cool. And hopefully, you know, throughout all those triple-doubles, I hope I got a winning record in those games because that's what's most important. So I really don't know what to really think about it. I think it's a pretty cool stat.
Stephen A. Smith, is it time to finally concede that LeBron is the greatest we've ever seen?
No, I will never concede that. And I've repeatedly stated that on many occasions. But I do want to congratulate him because I do think he's the second greatest player to have ever lived. I think he's on the Mount Rushmore of basketball. He's absolutely phenomenal. I will remind everybody that I have picked him to be my league MVP this year and the Lakers to win the chip because of this man. LeBron James is phenomenal, and we all know that. And this is his 5th triple-double of the season. What he is doing right now, listen, I'm not surprised. The fact that he was out since April, collaborating that time off with the manner in which he dedicates himself to taking care of his body and his conditioning, I am not surprised at all by what I'm seeing. Not even a little bit. Matter of fact, the only thing I'm surprised at is that he's only averaging 25 a game. I thought it would actually be about 28 to 29 a game. But everything else that he's doing, I'm not surprised that best record in basketball is what they're doing, is what they're bringing to the table. We get that. But everywhere where I am with LeBron James when it comes to the greatest ever, the process in which he has gotten to this point, there were so many years where he was devoid of the makeup of the MJ. And since it's the greatest, that's the only reason I'm bringing up Michael Jordan is because we're talking about the greatest ever, who I believe to be is Michael Jordan. Because he was devoid of that assassin's mentality, that killer instinct, that closer ability, etc. That is the reason I will never, ever, ever allow him to be the guy that eclipses Michael Jordan. Because it's if you could eradicate LeBron James' career from 2003 to 2011, and we went from his first championship to now, I'm going like this. I have to sit back, and I have to rethink this thing. I have to come up with an explanation because
you're holding the journey against him.
The journey. Yes, I am. I'm holding the journey. You know, I'm holding the journey. Those first 8 years. You know, against Boston in the postseason when people were accusing him of being a no-show, even though I don't really hold that against LeBron James because there was some shady stuff going on against him within the Cleveland Cavaliers organization back in the day that I thought was egregious, and I thought he was betrayed by a lot of people, okay? And so I don't hold that against him that much, but there was a no-show in the postseason, and then the series against the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, those almost count as like 3 NBA finals for Brian. I'm like, you just can't do what he did. Those are the 2 things, man.
Those are ridiculous reasons to hold against LeBron.
Okay.
Look, really, what we're asking here is LeBron James the Michael Jordan of basketball? No, Michael Jordan's the Michael Jordan of basketball. He's better than LeBron James.
Okay.
Michael Jordan at his best was a higher peak than LeBron, and LeBron sustained his peak longer. But in my view, what we mean when we say greatest, as long as it wasn't just like 1 or 2 seasons, if you sustained your peak for a good amount of time, we're talking about the highest peak. That's clearly By the way, the first time Michael Jordan played with another All-Star, he lost to the defending champs in the Eastern Conference Finals by a game because that All-Star had a migraine, only scored 2 points. Okay? The next year when Scottie Pippen reached his prime, Michael Jordan never again didn't win the finals in under 7 games, retired the prize. But there are different ways of looking at this. I can reframe it and give it to LeBron. I can say, we're talking career value. The very thing that you hold against LeBron, I give him credit for. Because Michael Jordan had 10 real years as MJ. I'm not talking about his rookie season. I don't mean the playoff game against the Celtics. He was hurt that year. I mean, he came back to start his 3rd season. He averaged 37 points. From there till the end of the second three-peat, he had 10 seasons of the best of all time. LeBron James is basic 15 good seasons operating at this level. The stuff you hold against him, when he wasn't a fished product early, I give him credit for because he was a truly great player. Day B. So what do I mean by career value versus peak value? This is an idea Bill James used to promote, when he was writing baseball books in the 80s. If you had a draft, and the point was to win as many games as possible over the course of this player's career, you would take LeBron James over everyone, including Kareem. Like, it comes down to LeBron and Kareem, and LeBron wins. If instead you're like, wait a minute, I want a span of time where we're going to win the championship every year as much as possible, then you take Jordan. But this is like baseball arguments.
Wow.
Who's the greatest pitcher of all time? Peak at Sandy Koufax. But he didn't have the career Bob Gibson did. He didn't pitch as long.
Right.
Well, this goes on all the time.
Let me say this to you. First of all, I want to do something that you rarely see on national television. I want to apologize to LeBron James for even having this kind of discussion after the kind of night that he's had and the kind of season he's had, because this is not an insulting conversation. This is a conversation as to whether or not you're 1 or 2 in the history of basketball. For those of folks out there that are being critical of LeBron James, we're dissecting an elevated level of greatness. Who's the greatest ever between him and Michael Jordan? Of course, I'm going to take those first 8 years against you. Of course, I'm going to take how you might have been a kid, but even as you grew, there were a lot of times you were scared, particularly to get to the free throw line. He was never scared of competition. He was scared of the free throw line, in my estimation, which obviously allowed him to be averse to attacking the basket and rely on fall-away jump shots rather than get to the hole, get fouled, and have to go to that free throw line early in his career. Of course, the finals against the Dallas Mavericks, that never happened to a Michael Jordan. The other thing that I will point out is this. And you don't bring this up enough, but I always do. Competition matters. And when you look at the competition that Michael Jordan had to go through, listen, the competition, I'm talking about the game, the way the game was played, the physicality
LeBron
that
is 73-win Warriors on the road.
Listen, you're talking about the finals, you talk about the championship. Remember, I'm talking about his entire career, the level of competition that he's playing in that weak Eastern Conference. That wasn't the case when Michael Jordan was playing. No doubt. Okay, so all I'm saying is when you look at the level of competition, and by the way, last but not least, we can talk about the 73 team. That's fine. Michael Jordan, we ain't going to even bring up Ewing and Reggie Miller and all of these guys. Michael Jordan beat Magic for his first title. He beat Clyde Drexler and the Portland Trailblazers for his second title. He beat Charles Barkley with Kevin Johnson. Everybody forget how Kevin Johnson was a monster.
Was bad.
Kevin Johnson was a monster, okay? And Dan Marley and those boys. That was the third one. He beat Sean Kemp when he wasn't Sean Klump twice. I'm sorry, not once, okay? Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. And then he beat Karl Malone and John.
So who had the better supporting cast? Who had better teams around
LeBron had a more consistent, excuse me.
That's fair.
I want to quickly say,
that's a great argument for LeBron.
MJ used to play 82 games every year, average more minutes than everyone, and also play defense every year at an elite level, something LeBron on again, off again. People forget this about MJ. He came back 60 after the Magic had gone to the finals with
Everyone should have seen this coming. The Lakers have 2 of the top 5 players